My name's Virgil Chaison. I'm with VC Inspection. I started back in 2012. I've been an inspector for over 20 years. Got an associate's degree in quality control and applied sciences. We have a huge background, I guess, as far as VC inspection. The most part, I've done drilling inspections. We do structural audits, which are Cat 3 inspection, Cat 4 inspections. I check your high pressure mud lines. We calculate the pressure rating for you. We check the thickness on your air receivers and your gas buster. We look for any type of structural damage from moving forklifts. We also check for damage just your everyday wear. We also get into the modifications. We go over the drawings with the engineerings, and we make sure that everything's a go. We fit up everything with the welder. We verify the fit up. We make sure that the welder's welding to the right procedure, using the right welding rods, and then we do an NDT inspection on it. If it's mag particle or ultrasonics, we'll get a full pin weld. On a full pin weld, we'll be able to see the entire weld, or if it's just our surface inspection. Besides that, we also do repairs. If we do find damages on the rigs, we will excavate the crack for, say, if we find a crack, and we'll make sure the crack's completely removed. We also do fabrication. On the fabrication side, we inspect with the same things. We check the fit ups. We make sure the welding's done right. We make sure that the fabrication company's not taking any shortcuts. We make sure that they're using the right materials. Basically, we're there to help our customers. A Cat 3 inspection is something that's required by API that you've got to do every 2 years. A Cat 4 inspection is required by API that you've got to do every 10 years. And the difference is a Cat 3 inspection, we're basically going to go through and we're going to check your high pressure mudline pressure rating. We're going to go through and check your structure, your mask and your sub, make sure there's no damage. And we also write you an API report out. Now, the Cat 4 inspection is a lot more intense. We check all your pin connections and pinholes. We're looking for elongation, basically wear from the life of the rig. And we also go through and we take thickness readings on the entire mask and sub. And we're looking for basically wall loss, deterioration over time that may weaken the strength of the sub or the mask. Absolutely. You'll have to have a certified NDT inspection that's going to be able to give you the thickness readings on the mud lines and your air receivers. And you also have to have a qualified magnetic particle inspection, which somebody's going to go through there and magnetically inspect all your major pin connections. Also, we have a guy that will be shear wave certified, which basically means we could it's basically like when your wife gets ultrasound. We could see inside. We could see what's going on in the welds. If there's any critical welds that we need to check, we can go ahead and do it. If there's a full pin weld that's being made, we could verify that it's welded correctly and there's no lack of fusion or pinholes or cracks in the weld. A lot of times these welders are not rig certified. If you have a certified welding inspector overseeing the project, basically qualifies the rigs so they're qualified, certifies their welders, has their welding. We work with the rigs. I mean, nothing ever works the same twice out there because we're on the rig schedule, you know. When we get out there, we do realize that we're at the mercy of the rig and what they can make available to us. So, I mean, sometimes we make it, we'll go out there a day early and we'll just catch what we call the backyard. Go through and check what we can on the high pressure mud lines. We'll check the air receivers. We'll check the structure for all the components in the backyard. And then the next day when they are getting ready to move, they'll come down with the sub and the mask and we check the rest of it. But basically we work with the customers the best we can. We know that the oil field waits on no one and expects everyone to wait on them. And we know how the game is. I mean, if it takes us where we've got to work through the night, we work through the night. Rain, snow, or sleet, we're out there. We'll get it done for them. We're lower than the average standard that goes, but we do have a 12-hour minimum when we're out there. We can cut customers flat rates. We've done that in the past, you know, give you a flat rate, what we could charge for the day. As far as breakdown of our invoice, you know, we do have an equipment cost. We have consumable costs. And we also charge what the government allowable mileage is, which right now this year is 56 cents a mile. If we've got to stay overnight and it's out of town, we'll charge lodging, which is $100. If the lodging is more expensive than $100, we will bill the cost to the client. Some of the oil field towns, it can get quite costly in hotels, and we charge a per diem, which is $45 a day, a meal expense. But we're willing to negotiate. I mean, if it's a small job out there in the yard, a lot of times we'll go out there for a 4-hour minimum. Sometimes, like I said, we work with our clients the best we can. We will do a flat rate if we have to, if the customer feels more confident in that. Usually on a Cat 3 inspection, we hope that they would give us a day advance notice, but I mean, we understand that sometimes it just don't work that way. And we've made things happen where we've been out there in the course of a few hours and started the Cat 3 inspection or Cat 4 inspection. When you do a Cat 3 inspection, you're probably looking at, I mean, if everything's in a perfect world, of course, we could probably get it done in a day and a half, 2 days. But with the wait and the lag and everything that goes there, you're looking at about a 3-day turnaround on a Cat 3 inspection with most times. It's just because nothing ever works out perfectly in the oil field, which most people that work the oil field do know that. The Cat 4, you probably could add a day to it on that, because a Cat 4, you're not only taking all the critical pin connections and also the thickness on everything, but you still got to do a Cat 3 inspection on top of that. But we usually can get all the Cat 4 done in an extra day's worth of time. Well, they're going to have their rig cleaned for us. Usually they're going to have to work with a cleaning crew to make sure that all the critical pin connections are clean, that everything that we can inspect is clean, because we cannot mag through oil-based mud and everything. And if the client wants us to work directly with the washing company, that's not a problem either. We can work with them. But the main thing is we just have to have it clean so we can go out there and do the best inspection that we can. We do it every year, but what we would find is we would find potential problems that you would find sooner than you would waiting on a 2-year inspection, especially on your newer rigs, because you don't know where you're going to find your hangups on them. Sometimes it's a work in progress, something that an engineer might have overlooked that we're finding, or just something that's particularly wearing a bad spot. With the sooner inspection, you're going to have damage. I mean, it's just a given. Every time that you break down that rig and move it, there's going to be something that's going to be dinged. Is it going to be a small, what they call a whiskey dent, a small dent, or is it going to be a major structural failure? I don't know. But you also have the guys that run around there on the forklifts that they're not concerned about the structure of the equipment that they're messing with. They're just trying to move it, and that creates a lot of damage. But also on top of that, I guess to say in short, you're just going to find your problems before they become an accident and could potentially hurt somebody or, God forbid, kill somebody. And they're definitely concerned about what we find out there as we go along. And they realize it's part of it's a scheduled maintenance or scheduled inspection that needs to be done. And they usually work with us. But most of the concern, it would be about what we're finding on there. A lot of the rig managers, they want to get it fixed. They don't want to have anything wrong with their rig that's potential to hurt somebody or just make their rig look bad. We do oversee, like if you have an inspection company already working with you, we do oversee their inspections to make sure that you're getting the correct paperwork that you need, that they're grading everything to code, that everything's basically legit. We'll also do, we could offer quality control on your high pressure mud lines. If your engineering's having a problem, or whoever is in charge of your high pressure mud lines, as far as keeping control of your pressure ratings, we do that. Do quality control on, your fabrications. We make sure that the fabricators are doing what they're paid to do, basically, that they're following the drawings, using the right materials, that they're not going to try to cheap out and take shortcuts. We also could fill in and do the NDT inspection or any CWI inspection that is also needed in a fabrication setting. We will do welder qualifications. A lot of times we'll hire a third party to do the x-ray side of it. A lot of times I help these companies out. I'll do an ultrasonic inspection on it just so they don't have to waste money on the x-ray company. And I could just see if it's good or bad in a few minutes and kick the bad ones out and save them some time. But we do welder qualifications for our welder certifications for welders. On the fabrication side, if they're building anything and they want to make sure, go back to fabrication just to make sure that they're being protected and somebody's looking out their best interest and the fabricator's not trying to take advantage of them. We also could put together a comprehensive inspection report for them, our portfolio, for even to say, together of all the inspections that we do. We could create a list for them when they need to come up. We worked with other companies that have what they may call a RAMS, work order where it triggers up a work order every time something comes due. Smaller companies, we also could help you out with not modifications that are coming on that you may have trouble with. We could help you out with modifications to make sure everything fits up, lines up, that we're not having any problems. And also, offering the inspection on the repairs, helping you out there and making sure that you're not being taken advantage of by the rig welders. Because if you leave it up to the rig welders out there, me doing structural audits for over 15, 16 years, a lot of them are going to give you junk weld. They're going to put cheap material on there. They're going to weld with P5, which is going to rust. It's going to crack. It's not going to have the structural integrity. And a lot of times when you come out there, it's not up to code anyway. When it's got to be a Cat 4 inspection, it's going to need to be cut off. So we can save you a lot of time and money as far as with not being taken advantage of with these smaller fabrication shops and welding companies. It's catching up with the other industry as far as the standards go. Inspections are coming more where they have to be. We have to do the inspections. Not only that, more companies are taking it seriously, that they understand the value of an inspection, that it can save lives, that it can help save the longevity of the rig. I've also seen, I guess, in inspections come, for example, my client that I've been with for over 13 years, we've changed. When I first started, we just had a general inspection, and basically we just looked at everything, but we've changed it up to a Cat 3 inspection. We made sure that they've stayed up to date with all the codes, doing the 7-year inspections on the deadline anchor, that we're making sure that their mudline readings are accurate. And we also came up with ways that they can make sure that they're getting accurate interpretation of the mudline readings, because that's very important. If you get 3 different companies going out there, or even the same company that's going out there, and they don't have a system of how they're going to take the readings on the high pressure mudline, you're just getting numbers, because you're never going to repeat the same numbers in the same locations. So you can never draw any graphs or any data off of that. Not only that, I guess we've seen, we've gone through where we now check the air receivers, the gas buster, which is things that weren't inspected before. We've also gone through, I guess, with the changes. With the changing in the drilling rigs have changed since I've been in the market. We've come out with the flex rigs, and you've come out with the more mobile rigs. And even with the new design with new clients that I'm working with, that we got walking rigs and some other designs that I can't mention on here, but they're very interesting with the new technology in drilling. Well, we got inspectors from a lot of different backgrounds, a few different backgrounds, but we all specialize, I guess, in one way or another that's going to help us with fabrication. We've got guys that started their career as fabricators, welders, fitters. We've got guys that has nothing but an NDT inspection background. We've got guys that's come, from a law background that's come into inspection. We've got some of the best structural inspectors and level 3s. We've got a real good team that we put together. On our projects, we communicate very well together. If there's any hiccups that we have, we put all our heads together and we come up with the best solution. And I can't tell you how many times we save their clients time and money and on these solutions that we've come up with. I'd say what makes us different also than these other companies is a lot of these companies have got so big and they're just worried about the bottom line, where I feel that we hire our guys that we pay them the best and we expect the best, I guess you could say. Our guys take their work pretty seriously. Their reputation's on the line, and they do realize it. And every one of them takes pride in what they do. Every one of them is exceptional in their own field. We have a lot of specialists that we've hired on with us. Yeah, we're always looking to grow with new talent. We always try to hire the best, and the ones that are not the best don't usually hang around all too long, don't last too long. Well, we do have a quality control system that we do check over everything that our contractors or employees do. Nothing gets out there that don't have at least a second or a third pair of eyes that's looking at it. And you can tell a lot by the report. The reports have the inspection. Most of the time, our guys go out there in teams. And, the one guy, it's kind of a buddy system, but it's also looking out for their best interests. They realize if the other guy's not holding his weight or doing his part, that it makes us all look bad as a group, and it costs us, potential clients. So everybody's out there that's, representing themselves the best. Everything's digital. Do everything that's digital. We have from our reports for the high pressure mud lines are in Excel. We have Adobe reports. We have Word reports. It's whatever the clients want. Well, our reports are different than anybody else in the industry for the most part. Most people use the same report. We've actually take pride in our report that we've actually changed the industry standard as far as the report goes. Because, I mean, if you go through all the other NDT companies, you're pretty much going to get the same exact report. But our report goes into a lot more detail using the Adobe systems that we're able to use and implement. So I feel that our reports are better than our competitors because we've seen the flaws in their reports. We've all used them before, and we've taken all our knowledge together to build these reports that we've built up. How does it benefit the customers? You're able to see more. Example, I mean, just a small example on a UT report. I mean, we log out where the indication is. It's all done digitally. I mean, before you had to do it by pencil in hand. With it being digital, everything's right there. I mean, there's no paperwork that clutter up your office. Everything can be kept on file. You can make backups. Another potential of our reports is also go into picture taking. We realize that taking, I guess, the inspector's word on it, everything we do, we document by pictures. So, I mean, if we're showing you an indication or a crack, you're going to see it. If we got to excavate it out, you're going to see a picture of the process of the welder excavating the whole crack out of the situation. You also see the finished product. So not only are you just seeing, I guess, us typing in what we did, you also visually see it in the report. Drops, basically, I mean, we do provide two services there. We will go out there and we actually do drops prevention. We'll go out there and do an inspection for you and make sure that you have all your tire wires are tied right, that you're using the right bolts, the lock bolts. Basically, there's no potential falling hazards out there. We also like to do, when we go out there, we like to show the rig managers and the hands everything that we're finding. So in the future, they know what to look for potential hazards. Because the thing is, I mean, when you're raising a mast up in the air, there's a lot of potential for a lot of harm. And we're just trying to save people there. And anything that we can help on that, we will do. The second part of what we do is we provide training out on drops. We could do it a multitude of ways. We could provide a video package for you if that's what you want and to provide to your employees. We go there and physically teach your employees, or we could actually go and train your safety guy and train him to train your employees. We also can go out there and physically with the rig with the employees and show them physically what potential hazards are out there on their Pacific rig, so to make them aware of it and the potential hazards that may come from that. One thing I think that makes our inspection superior to others, if we have an approved procedure where we could actually mag through paint, that saves the clients a lot of money on their paint job. Not everybody wants the paint to be removed every 2 years and then have to paint it back. As long as there's a good bond and the paint's in a good condition, and it's not applied too thick, we can inspect through the paint, which saves the clients tremendously amounts of money over the years. It also prevents the rig from rusting or corrosion, and keeps the life of the rig longer. Another advantage I think that we have is with our long experience in drilling rigs, I should say, we've seen the different models of rigs. We've worked on the old conventional rigs. We've seen the original concept of the flex rigs, and we've seen them grow to what they are now. And now with the new market, the emerging market, we're getting to the walking rigs, and different people are been with the mobile rigs, but we've seen the evolution of the mobile rig, and even more today with some of them that are just extremely fascinating what they're doing with it. Inspectors are not the most popular trade that's out there. That's 100% the truth. But yeah, a lot of superintendents are good guys. They want to know what they got out there on their rigs. They want to know what's going wrong with it. And a good rig manager is not going to be fearful of it. He's going to understand that you're going to have damage to it, but he's going to want it when the inspection comes. He's going to want to fix it right away and have it, have a top flight rig. I mean, that's what makes the difference between a good rig manager and a bad rig manager. And I'll say this, from the good rig managers, they're the ones that will eventually become superintendents, the ones that care about their rigs. That definitely, I've seen it through and through, time and time again. The ones that take pride in their rigs and want their rigs to be in the best shape possible are usually the ones that move up to superintendents and beyond. Yeah, I've had to train some of my guys not to say stuff until you're 100% sure because I'll give them guys a heart attack. I had one guy, he just great inspector, but he didn't have a gift for words. And, he'd find something, excuse my language, but it's fucked up. And here goes the rig manager, calling his superintendent, oh my God, we got to change this pipe, high pressure mud line. And I've got to be on this new site in 2 days. What are we going to do? And you create a lot of panic. Forklifts, oh my God. I mean, they cause so much damage. I mean, these forklift guys, they hit the forks on there and they puncture so much stuff. I mean, it's almost given. Also, I mean, they got what they call a hydraulic catwalk or a PDF or pipe wrangler. It's got different names out there for it, but they get beat up. I mean, they get so much usage out of it that they get so beat up, and a lot of times the rig don't take care of the proper maintenance on it, and you have cylinders that blow out. I mean, it's usually in rough shape every time we go out there. It's one of the most critical components, I'd say, to inspect out there. Our job's basically to check for the structural integrity of the rig. We're looking for any kind of damage, any kind of wall loss, any type of potential hazard. But no, we don't need to see it fully erected. We just need to be able to get to the whole structure itself and be able to see it up close. I mean, we can't do a inspection when it's erected with binoculars. We can do the best we can. I mean, we'll climb up there and do the best we can, and we do it all the time when they crown out on the top drive. We'll climb to the crown, make sure everything's good to bring the mast down. I've gone up in man baskets and cranes, but to do the best inspection that you need for the rig, yeah, we need it broke down. For us, we just need to see all the components, and for us, the best way to see it is when it's broke apart.